Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Basic Education Board.
Dear learners, how are you? Let me hope you are doing very well over there. I'm your economic teacher, Anton. Today, we are going to continue on Unit 11, and that is production. Our lesson shall proceed with Lesson 8, and that is, shall look at the characteristics of labor. And our learning objective by the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain the characteristics of labor. So that's what we want to achieve when you can give the characteristics of labor. Now, before I start with the characteristics, could you remind me the lesson that we looked at? You can remind me the lesson we looked at, because it was also under production, it was the unit, right? So we looked at labor as a factor of production, and we looked at how labor is divided. We saw skilled labor, semi-skilled labor, and unskilled labor. Then we went on and looked at determinants. Could you briefly tell me, outline for me some of them that we looked at? Some of the determinants. Right? Yeah, the level, the price level, that's one. Next, right, the cost of living, so that when the cost of living is high, labor wage is also high. Then the other one talked of the level of price. When the company is making profit, even it increases wage will be high. So, good. Now you can see some of the determinants on the screen. Some of them that I try to get out. Looked at price level, cost of living, employers' ability to pay, that sometimes the employer have ability to pay higher wage, others don't have. Then education and experience. People who are educated and experienced, they are paid higher wages, and others are paid low. Good. So that was our previous work. That's what we looked at. I'm now happy that you recall, you still know what I taught you. Now, we can proceed with the characteristics of labor. Characteristics of labor. So let me hope you know if we talk of labor, because I talked of it. Labor. We say that labor may be mental or physical work. So you may do work physically or mentally in the production process. So let's see what are some of the characteristics of labor. Get a pen and a paper, then we start off. So one, labor is perishable. Labor is perishable. So why do you think that labor is perishable? Perishable. Okay, before, what's the meaning of the word perishable? Perishable, we normally talk of perishability. Right, something that has a short gestation period. So something that cannot last long. Labor is perishable. Why? Why is it perishable? Good. It is perishable because it cannot be stored. You cannot say that now, labor, let's store here our labor. Because you can get office equipment and you put them in the office. You can get machines, vehicles, and you put them somewhere. You stock, but you cannot, so it cannot be stored. Labor cannot be stored. Still, it is perishable because it cannot be postponed. It cannot be postponed. As you can see that now, let me get this labor. Okay, I will provide my labor the following day. So you cannot postpone that labor and you put it another day. Then, still being perishable, cannot be accumulated. Accumulated. So you cannot say that now the labor we have, let's put it somewhere and we add on, and we add on. No, it is perishable. So labor being perishable, it means that you cannot store it, you cannot postpone it for another day, and you cannot accumulate it for the future. So that now this labor, let's keep it, or let's accumulate our labor. So that is 1. 2. Labor cannot be. Labor cannot be separated. Labor cannot be separated from the owner. Labor cannot be separated from the owner or laborer. Or laborer. I want you to get these two things. We have labor and laborer. So I'm the laborer. I'm offering labor. So there are two things, and they are not separate. So for land, you can separate land. But here, labor. So I'm a laborer and I'm the owner. So I can say that we are inseparable. We are inseparable. How? How are we inseparable? That labor, I'm a laborer and I'm the owner, and I provide what? Labor. Let me hope you are getting me clear. If I say that labor cannot be separated from the owner. Let me give you an example. If a teacher dies, he goes with his or her labor. If a doctor dies, you cannot transfer the training of a doctor to another person. An engineer. So you die, a teacher dies with his or her labor. And the same thing with an engineer, the doctor. So you cannot say, now your father was a doctor, then you transfer that training to another person. That's why we said that labor cannot be separated. A laborer is the one with labor. Good. Another thing, labor has weak bargaining. Labor has weak bargaining power. So labor has weak bargaining power. So dear learners, if I talk of this word bargaining, you can tell me what does it mean? Bargaining. Here that people are bargaining. Good. So if we talk of bargaining, this is where you find a seller and a buyer. When they are negotiating about the prices, then they come to what we call a bargaining zone. So that kind of bargaining, that's what we call bargaining. So we say that labor has weak bargaining power. When we are looking at labor, we say that sometimes we have trade unions that help us to bargain. But as labor, it has no bargaining power. Why? Because every time we look for the wage, we are looking for the salary. What they give you, you take that much. Whenever they give you little, so sometimes there is no even complaining. So that's why we say that there is weak bargaining power. Because we cannot accumulate it. We cannot store it somewhere. Then the following day, we sell in large quantities. Right. Next. Labor is human. Labor is human. So we have other factors of production, land, we have capital, but for labor is human. Being human, what does it mean? It means that a laborer, the one who is offering labor, has his own tastes, So if I talk of tastes, you can tell me tastes. So let me give an example. We have tastes of Muslims towards pork. So the taste for Muslim towards pork, it is not there. But for others, their tastes, they are free with taking pork. they are free with rearing pigs. So this is a test. Now, labor being human, I'm a Muslim. Then the following day you tell me to go and look after pigs. Then it means I will not do that because that's not my test. I will not do that work. Then, see, labor being human also has what we call habits. They are habits. Still, we have feelings. That's why that is labor. I've said that labor is human. Being human, it has its own tests where a laborer may not do certain activity, where a laborer will not be happy with what is doing. Then also, a laborer also has his feelings. Then habits. What does it mean? It means that when an employer is offering a job to a laborer, he has to also consider these things. The laborer is free to say, to talk of his or her tests. So the laborer takes into account to see that labor, being human, is not affected by the tests, habits, and feelings. Good. Next, labor supply. Labor supply is Labor supply is regressive. Labor supply is what? Regressive. How is it regressive? So, an increase in wages sometimes reduces what? Reduces the supply of what? Of labor. So you increase the wage, sometimes people reach at a stage, we have what we call target laborers. Target laborers. You increase labor, then a laborer works for a certain time. If he or she gets the amount either to do another business, you find when he or she is leaving. So there is a target. You say that now we are getting enough for a period of 5 months, or of a period of a year or 2 years, I will be leaving. So that's where you find that if there is high wage, even some of them take up leisure, others leave the work. Why? They have got what they want. They have enough to do other things. So that's why we say that labor supply is regressive. Good. Next, labor labor is heterogeneous. Labor is heterogeneous. Labor is heterogeneous. What does this mean? If I say that labor is heterogeneous, labor is heterogeneous. You normally hear that the guy is genius. So being heterogeneous, you find that sometimes you find when labor or laborers are performing differently. Some are efficient than the other. You find that some are productive, others are not productive. Why? Why do you think that some workers are productive, others are not productive? Good. So you find that some workers have different skills. The skills are different. We are all teachers, but some are more skilled than others. Then, experience gained. We are all doctors, but some are more experienced. So here, this is that some are more efficient. Why? Because of skills. Then experience gained. We are all doctors, but some are performing very well. Others are performing poorly. Why? The skills, the experience gained, then we have natural ability. Natural ability. Naturally, we are not the same in ability. One is good in certain activity, another one is also good. So, labor being heterogeneous, so some are performing good, some are more efficient. So it depends. Skills, experience, natural ability. Then still, we have the level of training. The level of training. Take a situation where someone is a diploma holder, another one is a degree holder. Then you have someone with a bachelor, then you have PhD. The training, the level of the training. As we say that we have the skilled, we have the semi-skilled. So performance, the efficiency will not be the same. So that's why we say labor is heterogeneous. Right. Next, labor is both the beginning. Labor is both the beginning and both the beginning and the end, and the end of production, and the end of production. So what do I mean if I say that labor is both the beginning and the end of production? What do I mean? Good. Here it means that laborer is the one who starts production. So as he or she starts production, then at the end, he will be the final use of that good. Take a situation. Someone goes into a factory. The business, what they are doing, is juice. Is offering labor to have juice. But when the product is out, the same laborer is the one who will buy that product. So that's why you say labor is both the beginning and the end of production. Is the one who produces something, and the following day is the final consumer of that good or service. Right. Then labor is geographical. Labor is geographical. Labor is geographically. Labor is geographically and occupationally mobile. So labor is geographically and occupationally mobile. What does it mean? That labor can move from one area to another. From here, from Kigali, can go to work in Musanze, I can go to Nyagatare, I can go to Karongi. So that's why we say it can move from one location to another. Good. Now, as I conclude, let's see whether we have achieved our objective. We said that by the end of the lesson, we should be able to give the characteristics of labor. These are some of them. Labor is perishable. Labor cannot be separated from the owner or laborer. Labor has weak bargaining power. Then here, we said labor is human. Labor supply is regressive. Labor is heterogeneous. Labor is both the beginning and the end of production. Labor is geographically and occupationally mobile. Good, my dear learners, let me hope we have achieved our objective. Take my assignment, look on the screen and take my assignment. I remain yours, Anton. Goodbye.